Okay, guys, so the one I'm going to be discussing today is one that not everybody who subscribes to this channel would know about, and it's called Magnolia. It's a comic book based series that was created by someone named Ansel Harris, and it shows right here in my country of Trinidad and Tobago. So it's our version of comic book heroes brought to life on the small screen. And Magnolia is the first of many to come. So today what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be quickly covering it. So it has 3 episodes out so far. You can find them on GT Network. I'll put a link to where you can check it out if you want to. And you can see for yourself what Magnolia is all about. So let me give you a little background on it. Magnolia tells the story of a young girl named Rachel who basically discovers she possesses powers, starting with telekinesis. And from there, certain things are revealed as the episode goes along that tells us more and more about her, the origins of her powers, and of course, the villains that she's going to be coming up against. Not just on this island, but on a global scale, on a universal scale. So before we start, I'll just be upfront about something with you guys. I personally know the creator of this show, Ansel Harris. That said, he knows and I know that no friendship involved here. This is just me telling it as it is, you know. So I promise you, I'm going to be very fair about it. And what I'm telling you guys, like with all my other reviews, is exactly how I feel about this show. Friendship or not. And we'll start with episode 1, which of course brings us into this world of Magnolia. A young girl, she's a teenager, who she's struggling, she's having issues with her relationship with her father, and with all of this, on top of that, she discovers she has telekinetic abilities. And she's trying to figure out how to deal with that. Where did it come from? How all of a sudden she has superpowers and that sort of thing. And the first episode, I thought, did a solid job of introducing us to her and helping us get to know her world, her little slice of this world, or I should say in our country of Trinidad and Tobago. The actress here, Aliyah, she's very young, she's very new at this, but she's very passionate about it. You could tell she really wants to do something special with this. And another element that I really enjoyed in the first episode, although we get a lot in this first episode, is we do get to see where she gets her costume. We get to see her learning to control her powers. She meets a couple people. She has a friend that she reveals her abilities to. She meets another guy who kind of might know where these abilities are coming from. I'd try not to give away too much for anybody who wants to check it out, you know, but all of this stuff is related and it all builds into what's coming up in the second episodes. Now these episodes run for about, I think it's about 24 minutes, and they pack a lot of information into this first episode. And this episode for me, while it is a solid one, that kind of all of that information, it might be a bit much too soon, but that said, I think it's a solid start for this franchise, a solid start for this series. And what we're given here, you do feel very much like you want to know where it's going, what lays ahead for Magnolia. So episode 1 for me, I really enjoyed it. I think it was a very strong start, and I personally gave it a 7 out of 10. Now guys, keep in mind when you do watch this is not Hollywood, right? Okay, it's not CW, right? Budget is limited, but what these guys do here with this budget is it's pretty decent. It's pretty amazing, and it takes me right into episode 2, because episode 2 is where certain things are revealed about where Magnolia comes from. Think Clark Kent, you know. Like I said, this is very much a superhero origin story, and it's inspired by the comic books that we grew up reading. You know, we finally have our own heroes being built into our universe, so to speak. But of course, you know, it would be inspired by heroes like Superman and that sort of thing. So we do get to see the rest of this universe, and for me, this is the most intriguing element so far of this series. we get to see a different planet. We get a different language, which I really appreciated that they made the effort to do that. And we meet kind of like the main villain, who's gonna be the main villain in Rachel's life. And this is a character named Lillian. And Lillian here, oh, by the way, I forgot to mention the actress who plays Rachel. Her name is Aliyah Raghunath Maharaj. And the actress who plays Lillian is Kalia Jagannath Mills. And I think Kalia does a solid job as Lillian. She definitely gives you that vibe of somebody who she knows what she wants. She thinks she knows everything that she needs to know about the world that she lives in and her place in it. But there's a lot of secrets in this world, like with most things, a lot of things that has been kept from her and that she's learning, you know. And she discovers, of course, the existence of Rachel, who ties into this planet called Capernaum and ties into her family and her life directly. So we get Lillian and we get to see these special effects. We get to see the world that they're building here, guys. And like I said, this for me has been the strongest element so far. It's the world building. I think the guys here, what they do with a very minuscule budget is pretty amazing in terms of the planets, the ships, the score. I also really love the score choices that they use to give you this feeling of this grand epic tale that is being told. So we get to see Lillian, we get some background on Lillian, and this actress, I'm really invested in her. I think she's going along a route that, like most villains, she's not just a bad guy. I don't see that coming for this character. So I'm really intrigued to see what they do with Lillian. And we get to meet a few other people here, and by the end of this episode we also get Lillian meeting Rachel face to face. And of course, we know how these first meetings go. We get a clash of swords, so to speak, and we get some solid special effects, you know. So everything here is building momentum. Now, in this second episode, for me, one of the things I wanted to see more of is I want to see, it's very exposition heavy, this episode, and the action only comes in the end. But that wasn't really that big a deal for me. Because of the world building, because we're getting to see more of where it is these aliens come from and what their story is. What I really want to see is on Earth, I want to spend some time with the people in Rachel's life, and I want to see more of that. You know, she has a couple friends in her corner, so to speak, and I think it would be really good if those characters are developed as well as the main character, you know, because everybody has a story to tell, especially in this type of series, and I want to see development of those characters, you know. So again, I love the world building stuff here. I thought the special effects, the use of a made up language for this planet, I appreciated all of that. And while they don't have a lot of diverse locations, I still get a sense of the fact that we're trying to say this is an alien planet, but this is Earth, you know. I got a sense of that. So for me, this one was also a solid follow-up to the first episode, and I also gave it a 7 out of 10. And we have 3 episodes out. I'm gonna get into the third one, but I'll stop and say here that episode 2 is my favorite of the bunch so far, my personal favorite so far. Which brings me into the most recent episode that dropped, episode 3. And in this one, we see the events right after what happens after that fight, very short fight between Lillian and Rachel. Certain things happen. The fight doesn't go where I thought it was going. I wanted to see more of that. But we see Rachel back in her normal life. And this episode slows things down a lot. Rachel, she's a teenager. We see her going to school. Of course, she feels like an outsider. The other kids make fun of her and stuff like that, you know. So we get that element of it. We also get Lillian being warned off of going after the half-breeds on Earth, you know. And she herself having to go back to her planet to deal with another issue on another planet which by the way, I really love the shot. I love that aerial shot of the other planet. I love the music that they're using here. I really enjoy the score. You do get a sense of that emotion that score is supposed to bring out in that moment. So I'm thinking the song choices, soundtrack choices here, and the score, I'm really digging it. But for me, episode 3 was by far, it was the lull, it was the okay episode in the bunch for me personally. What we have here is, I felt again we didn't get enough of Rachel and associates. We do get a very nice, very Man of Steel inspired scene where Rachel learns she has another ability, and a very epic one. It's the one that a lot of people wish they have when you say, what superpower you wish you would have. And of course, I'm talking about flight. So it's very Man of Steel inspired, but you know what? I dug it. I really did. And we have a fun, I'm not gonna lie, I did laugh. A scene where she saves a woman from a mugger. I thought it was pretty decent. I like the line where the mugger says, like I said, I'm gonna get into spoiler territory on this one a little bit. The mugger says a line along the lines of, I'm not for this cartoon stuff, and I dug that. I really did. I wanted more of that. I thought we should get more of her celebrating. I mean, granted, she is now learning about his powers because she actually has a memory that triggers this power. So I love that stuff, but we need to develop these side characters more, and we need a more single-minded narrative, like a main goal as to what exactly is Rachel gonna be going up against. We do, like I said, we have Lelaine here. We know what her issues are against Rachel, but we really need to, I feel like they need to focus a bit more on that, on giving us a direct bad guy, a direct, this is what she has to go up against. And from there, we could have, those standalone episodes where she's learning an ability, she's dealing with the fallout of her friends, knowing her friend knowing what she is and how they treat her and how they deal with knowing that the world is so much bigger than they thought it was. I really want to see more of that. There is a scene here in the classroom that I didn't feel was that necessary. It does lead into something in the end of the episode, and I'm digging that. It did leave me quite intrigued. That actress has a presence about her that I'm really loving, and you could tell she is into it. She didn't even have that much to say in the moment, but she has that energy, that says that she's got the attitude that you need for this type of character. So I get what the classroom scene before was about, but I just didn't feel like it needed to be that long, and there was some audio issues in the classroom as well as a lighting issue that I'm not sure if it was on purpose or just them having to deal with a lighting issue. As I said before, guys, there are budgetary constraints on this, but at the same time, I feel like Magnolia has so much else going for it that I can overlook that stuff, So it's all about the story, and I want to see them tighten up on this story a bit more. I want some more answers, because the episodes it's not weekly, and because of that format, I feel like you really need to either start it, I don't know what the constraints are, I'm sure there are many, especially with the pandemic, but I would like to see these episodes come out more frequently so I can stay on top of what's happening in the series, because there were points where I was trying to remember what came before, and I did rewatch parts of the first and second episode to remind myself, because the episodes come out so few and far between in terms of time, and I'm not sure how many episodes we have left in this series, but I definitely am looking forward to where they're taking us. I'm hoping to see more of that alien world and more of Magnolia interacting in that world. I think that would be fantastic, you know, to take her out of her environment and put her there. And I'm also hoping to see more character development with her friends. You know, I don't want this just to be her story and her story alone. You know, granted, she is the star, but like any good superhero television series, there's an ensemble, and you really have, you know, you need to use them, you need to utilize them and build on them. So all that said, guys, episode 3 for me was a 5.5 out of 10. The first 2 episodes I definitely enjoyed those a bit more. I thought they were a bit tighter, a bit better in terms of pacing and that sort of thing. This one I did enjoy the action sequences. I did enjoy seeing the little nod to Superman, to Man of Steel and stuff like that. But we need to get that storyline moving a bit faster now. I think we're 3 in, and we really need to get a handle on where exactly is Magnolia's journey taking us. So episode 3 for me was a 5.5 out of 10. And that covers Magnolia, guys. So like I said, if you haven't seen this, I will put a link below. You can check it out. You can get more information on it. For all my Trini brothers and sisters that are outside of the country right now, you can check this out. You know, show some support for our local creators and our local content creators. And of course, you can look forward to more, because after Magnolia, you can check out Vil Ventures. You can check out what they're going to be coming with. There are a lot more heroes on the way. And it's not all Trinidad, you know, it's going to cover the Caribbean. So you get representation in the Caribbean, finally. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you did, please feel free to drop a like and a comment. And you can share this as well anywhere you want. Let's get the word out on this series. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, you can click on my face when it pops up about there. And you guys know what to do if you want to watch past videos. So until the next one, guys. Bye-bye.